Welcome to Bourbon Social's Random Dram. I'm your host, James from Bourbon Social. In this series, I select a random sample of whiskey, review it, then reveal what it is and who sent it to me. In front of me, I have a box of handshakes that were all generously sent to me from members of the Bourbon Social community. In today's video, I'm going to pick a random sample from this box, pour myself a dram, review it, and try to figure out what it is. As always, before I begin the review, please hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the Bourbon Social YouTube channel. Now let's pick a random dram. Let's get right into it. I'm going to close my eyes, do one of these. Okay, I have my sample. Hands are over the label. I'll open my eyes now. Push this out of the way. Open this up. Pour myself a dram. Close it up. Put it over here on the side so I don't know what it is. That's it. We have ourselves a random dram. A little swirl on the nose. So I'm kind of at a loss. I really don't know what this is. I can't tell if this is a bourbon or a rye or even a high rye bourbon again. I am picking up some notes of rye, but it's very sweet. It doesn't have any ethanol to it. It doesn't have much of a burn. Just a little bit of a charred oak. Okay, so I've spent some time on the nose. I'm picking up some dark fruit, a little bit of vanilla, some sweet oak. This might even have some age to it. I think I'm getting notes of tobacco and leather. This smells phenomenal on the nose. Let's go in for our first sip. Cheers, everybody. I'm excited to try this because the nose is great. Oh, that is good. Holy shit, that's good. Oh, man, that is dark. So it's very oily. It's got a lot of viscosity to it. And man, what a finish. It has a long burn. It doesn't have a lot of spice on the palate, but what a big finish. That's still going. This has some proof to it. This has some age to it. It's got great legs. It's got a great flavor profile. It's thick. It's oily. It's viscous. It's got a beautiful flavor. It's warm. It has a big hug to it. It's still going. Like each sip, the finish just lasts forever. It's definitely got some sweetness on the palate. Sweet creamed corn, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of baking spice, some faint notes of leather and tobacco. You got a little bit of char, sweet oak. This is a great pour. I can't tell if this is a bourbon or a high rye because I do kind of pick up a little bit of a rye spice on there, but I was overconfident the last time. I'm gonna have another sip of this. Wow, whatever this is, I love it. It's got a great mouthfeel, perfect texture, perfect viscosity. What a long, warm finish. It's not overly spicy. It's not overly high proof. It's just flavorful and easy to drink and has such a great finish. Nice warm hug. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to guess that this is either a bourbon or a high rye bourbon. It has all your traditional bourbon flavor profiles, but it does have a little bit of a minty spice to it, but not overpowering. I don't want to be wrong, but I feel like I'm getting that. I'm going to leave a little bit left in there. You know what? I'm just going to finish it. We'll finish it, and then we'll reveal what it is. That's fantastic. Dark fruit, vanilla, that high corn sweetness, sweet oak, a little bit of spice, just a great mouthfeel, easy to drink. I'm excited to find out what this is. Let's reach over for it. We don't want to knock it over. So this is, wow, look at this. Old Elk Single Barrel, aged 5 years, 117.6 proof. This was sent to me, I believe, by my buddy Mark B. Mark B, Crippled Cop. Old Elk Single Barrel, age 5.7 years, 117.6 proof. This is fantastic. You know what's funny? I was going to say that it kind of tastes familiar, like I've had this profile before, and I have an Old Elk Single Barrel. It happens to be my first ever barrel pick. I'm going to pour a little of this. I don't know the mash bill on this. I know that mine is a high malt recipe. This is the high malt mash bill. These corks are so loose. Let's see if we can kind of pick up any differences here. Mine is 8 years, 105.7 proof, so it's a little lower in proof. The mash bill on this one is 51% corn, 51% corn, 15% rye, 34% malted barley. So as I said, a high malt 8-year mash bill. See, this one you could pick up on the high malt right away. This one you can't. This one's got to be a higher corn, a higher rye mash bill. Yeah, they're very different on the nose. Big notes of malt right up on the front, on the nose on this one. Definitely malty. I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to see if I can Google this mash bill. Because I am leaning towards this being a little bit of a higher rye mash bill. I'm definitely getting that sweetness from the corn, but there is a rye spice in there that I'm definitely detecting. Phenomenal pour. So Mark, thank you for sending this to me. Let's pause this and try to figure out what's in this glass. I did some research on barrel 284. This is from the Pride stores. Couldn't find anything. But I know that their single barrels are either wheaters, an all rye, a high malt. I don't think this is a 95.5 rye, and it's definitely not a malt. So this may be their standard mash bill. The more I let this sit and open, I am leaning towards that being just their straight bourbon mash bill. And you know what's funny? I did pick up a rye note. Old Elk is using MGP rye. MGP rye is so distinct. I picked it up in this Old Elk, and I also picked it up in the Widow Jane. This is fantastic. That finish just keeps going. I might as well finish this. I'll just sip on this as I edit out this video. That's a really nice pour. I want to say thank you again to Mark for sending me this handshake. Mark actually sent me a bunch of handshakes. They were in Liquid Ministry handshakes, and I swapped it out to regular size handshakes just to kind of keep it in the box, even with everything else. But this was in a nicer glass, Liquid Ministry. Thank you again, Mark. Phenomenal pour. Phenomenal Old Elk pick. I really enjoyed this one. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Bourbon Social's Random Dram. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Make sure you hit that like button. Help me grow this channel. Subscribe to the Bourbon Social YouTube channel. If you're interested in joining the Patreon, it's Bourbon Social on Patreon. That gets you access to my weekly newsletter. If you want to join, I'll get you access to the Discord. But thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate all the followers and the support. Thank you, guys. Cheers. My outro, as I always say, life is better with a buzz. Cheers.